Welcome back to A Corporate Time. You got a story, Daniel?
Well, I was going to say, like, in a day and age when most news, like, you can't really trust, like, I find myself gravitating to, like, more interesting stories that are just produced by magazines. And I know that sounds crazy, but most of the stuff, if I'm, like, laying in bed reading, because I do a lot of that, it's stuff like this. Like, this is from Popular Mechanics, of all people. Like, I didn't even know that was still around. But there was a time when little boys and dads would get Popular Mechanics, and you would learn, like, about RC cars, planes, you know, how an automobile works.
I was laughing the other day because I was like, when we tell our kids that there was a time where we used to fly, and before we flew, we would go to the magazine or whatever stand in the airport that sold magazines.
The indoor bodega.
And then have to buy a magazine to entertain ourselves to fly. Yeah. That's ridiculous. Because that was the only thing. It was that and maybe an in-flight movie, but if they didn't have a TV...
You know, we've never talked about that, but as a child, you'd have to sit there like an old man and stare straight forward. As a child.
Raw dog.
Yeah, that's the only thing you could do. What I want to tell you about, it's the bizarre tale of Grandpa Brito. Now, Grandpa Brito, or Brito Morstone, or Morstøl, they're Norwegian, so bear with me.
Okay.
He was a Norwegian park director born in 1900, so pretty old dude. He lived a regular life, you know, regular hobbies, painting, skiing, normal Norwegian type stuff. But he died in 1989 from cardiovascular issues. His afterlife is where it gets weird. His grandson was obsessed with cryogenics.
Okay.
So he was known affectionately as Grandpa Brito. And his grandson, whose name is Trygrive Brage, this is your. Speaking of your wife,
oh yeah, on Facebook Marketplace.
Isn't this your wife's people? Isn't she Nordic? She's Norwegian, right? Isn't she? Or she's Swedish?
Swedish, yeah.
So Trygrive, he became obsessed with this, and for the last 30 years, he preserved his grandfather in dry ice within a tuft shed in Nederland, Colorado. That's because he fled the Netherlands. Okay, but for the longest time, he had his grandpa in a makeshift cryogenic freezer that he created himself.
So he would just get more and more, because dry ice eventually goes away. Like, it only lasts
well, he engineered, like, sort of like
day.
what they do at the big cryogenic freezers. He engineered one on his own within a shed.
Okay.
I don't think this guy is a dumbass.
But then it would just continually refill it with dry ice to freeze his grandpa?
Well, originally, I guess, his grandfather. Now, all of this, and I've been searching for this all morning, all of this was done without his grandfather's consent. It was basically like, you know, like he knew and loved his grandfather, but as soon as his grandfather died, he froze him.
Yeah, well, I'm fine with anybody doing anything to a dead body.
But a lot of people are. A lot of people are. I know. I know. You always lead with, I'm fine with, and that's supposed to make it better.
No, I'm just telling you my opinion.
Right.
Because after he's dead, it's fine.
Yep.
Freeze him up.
So after, like, a series of unexpected events, including the grandson being deported, Grandpa Brito, it became like a legal battle within Nederland, Colorado. They were trying to figure out, like, hey, guy, you can't, like, you fled the Netherlands because you cryogenically froze your grandpa. Then you got deported, so you brought him with you to Colorado, and then you made your own cryogenic freezing, like, shack, and you put him in there, and they're like, yo, we got to put a law in the books where people can't just be freezing bodies and just sticking them everywhere, right?
Okay, well, this is interesting. So he was able to bring his grandfather's dead body from Sweden to the United States?
Yes. He originally froze his grandfather in like a professional cryogenic freezing facility. But he, through some sort of legal battle or problems that he was having within, Norway, he got in some issues and was deported.
Okay.
So then upon being deported, he brought his grandfather with him to Colorado.
Okay.
And then created a cryogenic freezing shack and put him in there.
So, because I know that, remember that documentary with the crazy religious people, and they were given that one lady, the mother god, colloidal silver.
Yeah.
And then when they were taking her dead body around, I think the crime is just like desecration of a corpse or something, or like it's not that big of a deal.
I don't even think this was a crime. It continues a little bit. So after all these events, right? So remember, this guy, he fled Norway. He's in Colorado. He's got his grandpa, obsessed with cryogenics. So he moves to this town. Let me find it here. The name of the town was I can't find it, but it's in Colorado. So what he did was the particular city where it becomes completely interesting is the city decides, hey, we got to tighten up, we got to put a law in the books. So it led to them actually creating a municipal code against storing non-living bodies. But despite this, they also, because he was there and not really causing any trouble or anything, they did, no pun intended, grandfather him in and allowed the grandfather to stay in the city. So the town, knowing that they have this grandfather, they started capitalizing on it and started creating like festivals. So now there's a festival called the Frozen Dead Guy Days Festival. And now it's tourism within this particular area, and you can go and celebrate it. It's a festival attracting tourism. It was moved to the Stanley Hotel in this particular area, which was the hotel, oddly enough, that inspired Stephen King's The Shining.
Okay.
This is a weird story.
It's weird that the entire town somehow then turned it into some promotion.
Almost sounds like Encino Man or something.
Yeah.
They're like, come see our dead grandpa, frozen dead grandpa.
Because
they are saying here that the festivities did end in 2022. I don't know if they just got sick of it or...
No, got through COVID.
Yeah, they got through COVID and they shut it down.
And they're like, and now done.
Oh, here's why. In 2023... a nonprofit cryogenics company transferred Grandpa Brito to a more formal facility at the Stanley Hotel. So now he's actually, I guess, in the hotel because they intended to establish an international cryogenics museum.
Weird.
Yeah, so I guess he would be, I'm guessing he would be an attraction within the Cryogenics Museum showing what, certain people have done in the science of cryogenics.
Now, because this guy was in and out, I think because there still is a cryogenics business out there where people can get cryogenically frozen.
I mean,
right?
you and I are, adjacent to it with our frozen cord blood.
Now, well,
you only did it for one of your sons, and I told him that. I told him that. They said,
the free one wasn't for Tommy. It was only for Max.
I told him it when we were at. What is it? It's huge. Fun Spot.
Oh.
When I was at Fun Spot with your sons, I pulled them aside and I said, hey, boys, only one of you has frozen cord blood that'll save your life. And I'm not telling you which one. And then I walked away.
Oh, we've told them. We were like, only Max's was free. So Tommy doesn't care. He's like, all right. But there was because remember the Disney, Walt Disney's head was
somebody
supposed to be
brought
frozen,
that up in the chat room. Yeah,
which is a myth, by the way. And then cryogenics was hot in the 90s. Remember Demolition Man? It was all and even Encino Man. Was it Encino Man cryogenically frozen?
Well, that was more, I think, wasn't that just Block of Ice and then they found it?
Yeah, it was
which is loosely cryogenics.
But, I remember now, I think it turns out that, with all... every single study and all the findings are, and I still think even the cryogenics business tells you, we don't have the technology to actually unfreeze someone and bring them back to life now.
Right.
But maybe we will 100
maybe,
years.
Right?
Yeah.
It's a huge maybe.
But
if I had the money, I'm all for maybes.
Now, I think that other scientists, and if you look this up, I have before, they say that it's impossible that they can't see even any future science bringing these people back to life. And I think it's all just a BS business. Hope.
They kind of say in this article. It's funny.
All your cells are destroyed by freezing.
That's exactly what it says here. It basically says that when he initially froze his grandfather. By the way, they don't say if there was any consent. I don't believe there was. That does make it weird to me that you would just assume that you could take your grandfather's corpse. I mean, I think you should at least ask your dad. Right? I think you should at least ask your dad if you could take your grandfather and freeze him.
Norwegians, different breed.
Yeah, they are. They are different. They are different. But they say in here that because he moved him from the professional facility at first to the one that he created in the shack, that there was probably, you can just assume that there was terrible damage done to the, they call it here significant biological damage.
Yeah. It's impossible.
It's an impossibility.
The body is completely 100% destroyed.
So,
it's impossible.
So he is pivoted. So the tie a little bow on it here for the grandson, right?
Yeah.
Is that he is now pivoted, even though, and I believe the grandfather's still frozen. He's now pivoted to wanting to clone his grandfather now.
Okay, all right. Well, that's different.
Yeah, that is different.
Now, it's
also
not going to be your
reckless.
grandfather.
I feel like it's reckless. If you give
Yeah.
birth to a 90-year-old man,
Yeah.
that's reckless, right? You're only giving him, like, what, a year to live?
Well, it would be a baby.
No, I don't want that. I want full-blown. I want
yeah.
clone as is.
Yeah. It would have to be
Because
like.
how weird would it be to have a baby of your grandfather? That'd be weird, dude.
And then, like, I think
Imagine if you cloned your grandfather and then you held him as a baby and then you blew pot smoke in his face. Right? Is that still child abuse?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
He wouldn't have been as mad at Obama based on his life experiences.
Right.
Like, like current
A lot
day
of grandpas would rather be frozen
current
than see
day
Obama,
pop-up
right?
would be tolerant towards me. They grew up in a different time.
Yeah.
It's like a completely different person.
He's got tons of Riz.
Not even the same person.
Yeah, he's dripping with Riz.
I think the acknowledged only way to actually have someone live forever or some extended period of time has been the theory or the idea of downloading someone's consciousness
Do you think about this?
and then re-uploading it into a body.
I mean, you're more into the reason I picked the story is you're more into biohacking than I am. Like even our barber will say that. He'll be like, "Hey man, I won't bore you with the biohacking stuff when you're in here getting a cut from me. That's more for me and Tom because we're men. What do you want to talk about? Puppies? What do you want to talk about? Baby stuff? You're talking about
I'm like, what are you talking about, Daniel? About some
food?
dollies and some emotions?
You want to talk about some?
We're gonna cry together.
I can't even think of anything. Talk about some doilies.
But
do people use doilies anymore?
no.
Damn it.
So
I got a lot of them. I'm chock full of doilies.
And I think there's tons of like Black Mirror episodes and movies based on people downloading your consciousness and then uploading it to another body or whatever, because then that's who you are, right? Your brain.
Sure, right.
So your brain is who, like, people. It's weird to me because people like don't really give credit to your brain. Like they were like, oh, it's a soul and things they think other things are involved other than just your brain.
But
and it's like if you hit your head hard enough, you will be a different person.
Oh
like,
yeah.
Your personality will change. Like you probably not gonna have the same memories. Like there's that documentary about the skier that hit his head real hard, and like everybody, all his loved ones are like, he's a different person
He
now.
is, but I was very impressed with his comeback. That's a good comeback.
Yeah. No, he's it's just he's not the same person he was.
But
because
that's about as good as you can go.
Yeah, your brain is who you are, and your personality and all your experiences and all of that is combined to the person you are. It has nothing to do with anything else. You could have the same body, and that's like you can clone your loved one, and it's gonna have the same baseline, I guess, temperament, like just like our kids.
I don't even know if you can guarantee that.
Yeah, with the same. I think like if I clone Tommy and Max.
The article I read on dogs said that you could do it, and they're gonna look the same, but their personalities could be like wildly different.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, because like we've talked about, like you're
because you can't control you're controlling every aspect, but how they align is still going to be not exact.
I think it is biologically exact, like identical twin or whatever. Like your genes are the same and they're aligned the same. Everything, your life experiences could be different, and that could tweak your personality. But like like we talked about with Maisie and Tommy and Max and stuff. Like we saw them being born who they are, like obviously they get tweaked, but they're based like Maisie's born a grinder and born the way she is,
And
like,
I see your anxiety in me, I'll tell you a story last night. Like it was weird how she's like this. So last night I know you love a good story about the joys of having a dog. So Dansby, Maggie the dog, we're still crushing up pills for Maggie. And we have to mix the pills in the wet food. Yeah. So she can't find it because she's too smart for cheese.
Okay.
So I crush up the pills. Now Maisie likes crushing the pills because she does like to help take care of Maggie. Okay. So I let Maisie crush up the pills. We get in there, we mix it up. Well, because of that, we've been giving Dansby, because fair is fair, we let him lick the spoon of the wet food. Well, I don't know if you know this, but a dog with a can of wet food, you open that thing up and the dogs go bananas. They go crazy.
Yeah.
It's like the smell. They lose their minds. Dansby, I've never seen him react like this. I've never seen that dog more crazy. So Maisie's been giving him the spoon to lick. When he licks the spoon, though, it's like ravenous, and he sucks in a lot of air.
Okay.
Well, then last night, I guess he went and ate, and then we're going to bed, and he always lays next to me on my left side.
Yeah,
He always lays on my left side. So he's laying on my left side, and he likes to go under the covers, completely under the covers, so you can't even see him. He's just like, he might as well be part of me. He just lays on my side. So he goes completely under, and I've got on a pair of those Chubby's sweat shorts because I'm a classy guy. And I hear him burping under there. He's got some gas. He got some bloating. This dog proceeds to burp puke all of his food undigested into the leg hole of my Chubby. Right into the, fills my whole leg hole. Like a pile of dog food in my pants. And I don't have on underwear. So I've had like wet dog food on my genitals. And I know you love this. You love these. It's like Christmas in July.
Yeah.
So I'm like screaming. I have to tell Andrea, well, I can't stand up or all the dog food's going to fall out. So I had to lay in the bed and pull the covers off of me nicely so I didn't get dog food on the top sheet or my blanket. Because I like the way my blanket smells. I don't want to wash it. So I had to peel that off. Then I had to have Andrea, I had to take my shorts and peel them upwards so the dog food would fall out and have them slide the pants off of me like I'm a little doll and then keep the dog food in the pants. And then pull the pants up and then set it to the side. And then, meanwhile, Maisie, by the way, came running in because she heard me screaming. She's like, what's wrong? What's wrong? She's standing there as her dad's completely naked on the bed with dog food under his balls. There you go.
Yeah. Well, she's probably nervous because you're screaming.
Yeah, but that was it. Like, we checked our phones afterwards, and there were like 15 text messages. Why are you screaming? What's wrong? Please help. Are you okay? I'm like, oh my God, she's got it.
Well, that's kind of a proper response to their dad screaming. Like if I started screaming in my house, my kids would be panicked.
It was like that kind of scream.
So maybe she doesn't have anxiety.
It was like a standard lady scream. It was a help. Mugger. It was a mugger scream.
Yeah, like I'm gonna purchase this dog that will one day puke in my shorts in my bed.
I love him so much. I love him so much. He's my favorite. We got time for one more. You want to do one more?
Yeah.
All right, last one. Here we go.
Hey there, Tom and Dan. Hey guys, it's Kenny. There is a trash reality game show called The Circle on Netflix, and the point of it is everyone who's participating is in a single one-bedroom apartment, and they can communicate with each other only through a fake social network. So they don't actually get to see or meet each other at all. They just do text conversations or group chats and stuff, and they post whatever photos that they want to put for other people to see. Now, some people are their real selves, and other people are catfish. So, 25-year-old girl will be played by some gross 50-year-old dude. And the whole point of the show is it's a popularity contest. They kick out people, they rank people as the top influencer, all that sort of stuff. Well, this season, there's an AI robot that is playing as a contestant trying to fool other people. And it's kind of hilarious because the AI robot will do things like, if I message Corey privately, this will give me a higher likelihood that Corey will trust me in the future with their secrets. I think this will further my game strategically. And I'm like, oh, God, is this what Tom thinks whenever he interacts with anyone? If he goes up to Dan, does he think, oh, well, if I tell Dan this embarrassing story, it will increase the likelihood that Dan will trust me with a secret in the future? It is mind-boggling. So if you ever get a chance to check it out, the AI robot is Tom. All right, guys. Love you.
Okay, that's cool. By the way, I'd just like to point out, because I need to, there are at least 2 people, possibly 3, that have had their pee-pee dog barf down their pants. In the chat room right now.
Oh, I believe it.
I just want to make sure. I need to give those people some love.
When dogs sleep in your bed.
#me too.
I've had it where Lena didn't barf, but she has had her anal glands.
That's worse.
Expressed.
Thank you for your
in
service.
the sheets.
Thank you for your service. That's the worst thing.
Me and Crystal
woke
up.
That's being on the front lines. That's like literally being dropped in the middle of Vietnam and having to wipe out the village.
I think it was around that time.
Anal glands? You've messed with anal glands?
I said never again.
I would shake your hand.
I say never again.
Dude, anal glands. Yeah, I would never again too. Once I did my tour of duty with anal glands, dude, I'm out. I'm out of the service.
Also, like my friends with old dogs, they tell me and Crystal.
Oh, Maggie looks better than ever.
Never. Oh, really?
Maggie looks better than ever.
You're gonna put her down.
I was gonna put her down. She went to Andrea's mom's house, and Andrea mom being a dog whisperer and an older lady, and they bonded. And she came home. She's filled out. She looks good. She's jumping and running again. Unbelievable.
Oh, that's what you're saying.
20 more years.
Get her out of here. Let Andrea's mom take her forever.
Maisie has been saying that. Maisie is logical like me on that end. Maisie's like, yeah, why don't you just give her to Vive?
Oh, you don't care?
Yeah, I don't want that stinky old head.
I like that. Maisie knows.
She does.
She's like, I don't want the
Yeah,
old
she's
one.
like, this one doesn't even do anything. She's like, this one just anal glands, you know?
And going back to what Kitty said, I assumed, and probably maybe wrong, that everybody thought like that. Like,
What do you mean?
Like everybody's behavior was for a purpose, and it's not. It's not. There's
I
a
mean,
rational.
yeah, but can't you have both? I mean, I don't think there one or the other is the answer. You know, like I think.
No, I don't think it's the answer
yeah,
either. No,
sometimes you react, and then sometimes you premeditate what you're going to do. Right? Sometimes you give it thought, and sometimes you just get at it.
Yeah. And I just, it's like what Kenny was saying. If I ever entered the dating pool again, it would be all calculated moves.
I think
like,
it'd be all prostitute.
yeah. Well, that's the best way because it's like, here's money.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. It's organized.
That's all
you like
I want,
a good,
really.
All you like is a business deal. Show up. Here's the money. Put it in the boot.
It may all be prostitute.
Yeah,
I think that's the best relationship.
I nailed that one.
Sometimes I think like that with my wife. I'm like, how about I just give you $200?
I know.
For a hammer mouth.
Me too.
Yeah, like,
I
pay
call my
for it.
wife. Sometimes I call her and I'm like, "How's my little prostitute?"
I
don't say that.
You're emotional.
I just said that to see if our guests were listening, and they are. They are. The guests are listening.
All right. Well, let's take a break, and we'll bring in our guest next.
Awesome. What's up, guys? Hey. How you doing? Hey, how you doing, Tom? Hey, is that our Monday 3, Tom?
Here, come grab a seat.
Is that Monday 3, 7/29?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Come on in.
No. Sorry. That's this Monday coming up.
Oh, this coming Monday.
Yeah.
Fine,
Sorry.
No, you're good. Did we have anything for that or no?
No.
Okay,
That was the first segment.
Perfect. Thank you for the clarification.
And I was thinking, since we're promoting the July 18th, that we'd put this on Monday, if you're good at that. Because doing a week before, usually we found that it's too early. Like week of promotion, early week is better for promoting something.
Do we give this one to Kara?
Oh, as soon as I'm done saving this, I promise I won't be rude.
You're fine.
I hate having my back to people.
Oh my
We
You
get
get the. It's almost like the Osmonds, except you have a cord. Does anybody get that besides me?
I like the. I remember the Osmonds.
It was not. It was like innovative that they had those microphones without a cord on them.
Yeah,
they were like the first ones to have it.
They were, and then I've learned a lot about like that one. I remember, but I learned from, oh God, what were we talking about the other? We were talking about the Melrose Pop because
Oh, yeah.
And then I didn't know that was the first time they'd had monitors on stage. That was like they had this. It was the Macintosh, the
No way.
high-end amps, the badass
Yeah.
amps, that I can't afford, and the speakers that are like $22,000.
I don't even need them.
No, yeah, but those guys created these like wedge amps that were for audio for the performers, so they could hear themselves, and it was the first time they'd ever used them. And like Jimi Hendrix, all these people were like, "Oh man, I can hear myself." So they say that even if you listen to it, it was some of the best they'd ever played because it was the first time they ever had studio monitors.
Wow.
And I was like, "What? Why did I not know that? That's pretty cool." I guess I should save this probably and stop talking to you guys. All right, 15.
There's work to be done.
24. Thanks for being here, y'all.
Of course.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thank you.
As
Are we going to
well.
talk about the human fly? Are we going to talk about him? You guys don't know about
Oh,
the human
the.
He scaled
I know
the-
what you're talking about.
He scaled the
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
I've been doing
Sorry, my
research
brain
on
went to
all
Jeff
these
Goldblum,
hotels
so-
all morning. Yeah, I've been reading about hotels. I want spooky stories.
We're screwed.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
You might be better than us.
We never stop talking. That's why you're never screwed. Or at least me. I can speak for me.
That's what I told her. I was like, when we did the Halloween episode, don't worry, you'll be fine.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
You guys can either have these or not. It's up to me.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, they help, but you don't have to have them. It's fine. I'll make you sound
I
good.
just like how professional I look.
And you could always
We
pull
are
that
the
microphone
world.
towards you. If I just, it's always
Right.
it sounds better the closer it gets.
How am
Yeah,
I
I'm
gonna do
usually not
this?
super loud either.
How am I gonna do these cameras? Let's broaden this guy. Let's do a 2-shot there. That'll work, right? And then we got the third mic there. Go ahead and talk in that one for me. Your mic there.
Hello.
Yes, it's working. Great. I was gonna be embarrassed. Let me line up Scotty. I need to put
And the exhibit's open now,
a
right?
stick on this.
No,
Oh,
13th.
It
right?
opens the 13th.
Yeah.
Saturday, okay.
Yeah. Although it's
We're
creeping up, right?
We're
It's
installing
like
it tomorrow.
things are happening,
Yeah.
but technically it's not open until.
Cool.
till
Well,
like
when this, I mean, it's live now on Twitch and YouTube, but
But
it
when
will
it airs,
air on
it's,
Monday. It'll
it's
be
happening.
live. Okay.
It's up.
Yeah.
So we'll pretend like it's up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Awesome. Perfect. I think that will work. All right, Tom. Let me finish this.
And it's October 3rd. I can't
Take your
remember.
word for it.
Something like
I
that.
should know when it
I
closes.
well, I should too. I just wrote about
We're
it.
also
yesterday.
doing the next one, so we probably really should know.
Yeah, we should.
You sound like
Check
Tom.
our
and,
website.
You guys sound like Tom and
Yeah,
Dave.
check our
Yeah,
website.
yeah,
It
yeah.
does
check
make me
our
feel
website.
better to get normal people in here because normal working people have these type of problems.
Yeah,
Right.
This is what normal people do.
We're a
People
mess.
ask us when your cruise, and I'm like, I have no idea.
God, when's the beer fest? When's the
Mid-September?
beer fest, Dan? I got nothing. Who's your guest today? Well, I'll find out when they get here. You know, like there's a lot of that. We do a lot of that. Because that's what real people do. I think also that probably social media has a little bit to do with that too. Because everybody's showing you like what they're doing and where are your mistakes.
Yeah.
No one's making any mistakes anymore. All right, here we go. Now we're good. All right, Tom, why don't you begin? 3, 2.
Welcome back to A Corporate Time. The Orange County Regional History Center is here.
Hey!
Scotty, Emily, and Kara.
Gave him a blast.
We're here to talk about a brand new pocket exhibit they have, Home Away from Home.
Oh, I thought it was on pockets.
Historic
I love
hotels.
pockets. You can put so many things in them. I like
Yeah.
big pockets. I like little pockets.
This is about hotels and
Pizza pockets.
historic hotels of Central Florida.
Yes.
How you guys doing?
Good.
Thanks
for
for
having
being
us.
here,
Yeah,
y'all.
thank you.
So
see ya.
let's talk historic hotels because, like, when I heard about this, the first one I thought of was the Bohemian downtown.
Not historic.
It's not.
I don't know. I'm throwing that out there.
I
so
thought
can
it
be
was
right.
historic.
I don't know.
So that I'm not. That's not historic.
mean-
It's not included.
Oh, okay. So it's not historic enough.
No.
It sounds historic.
I
always thought it
have
was the
some history
oldest.
there. I have some history there. I think I was asked to leave one time in that fancy lounge. They're
know-
like, sir,
Uh,
get out of here.
What about Lakeside Inn? Is that one?
It almost was.
Oh, okay, all right.
You're almost on there. We're
Okay,
almost on board.
I thought that was super
Oh,
old
what
too.
about
so, okay.
what about that Spanish place where everybody gets married?
You're just gonna guess all the hotels.
Casa Feliz.
Oh.
Casa Feliz. Is
Oh.
that was
No.
no?
OBT?
That's not a hotel.
Blue
That's not a
Rain.
hotel. I don't know what hotel. I don't know any Orlando history. I know nothing.
I guess it can't be a motel.
Bumby. Is it Bumby? No, I'm kidding. That's a joke. That's an Orlando joke.
So, Emily, let's talk about what is included with historic Central Florida hotels because.
Oh, the chat room's naming all of them.
Oh,
man,
they
they're
know
smart.
what? They know.
They're smart.
Oh, what does
Wow.
the chat room say?
They
Oh,
said
boy.
they said the Ainge built.
Yep,
Yep.
that's in it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. So where is that?
So that is in downtown Orlando. It is still there, actually. It's on the corner of Wall Street and Orange.
Okay. Well, I know where that is.
It's the bellhop now.
It has
Right?
other
Yeah, it's a
things in
bar.
there. Yeah, and there's a co-working space in there, and that's it's offices and things.
Oh, okay. So it's not a hotel
Not a hotel.
anymore.
No, it's
okay.
not.
yeah.
Cost $1 million originally to build that hotel.
Only $1 million.
Yeah. Well, wait till you see the
Yeah,
other one.
flat roof, 4-2 in Winter Park
On
for $1 million.
for the San Juan, which is the other hotel that we're talking about today. That one only cost $150,000,
That's crazy.
and I think it was it 2 stories at the time or
I think it was originally 3, and then they added a tower on.
yeah.
Okay.
And the tower, from what I read, was the place where everybody, if you could get a spot, would go to watch the public hangings.
Yeah.
Right? Really here?
Yeah.
It's funny because I don't think of
His
Central
eyes lit
Florida
up. He
being
loved-
that old.
No, are they still doing? No.
I honestly, if someone would have, if that was a trivia question, I'd have got it wrong. If like, did they used to do public hangings
Yeah.
in Central
I
Florida?
learned
Like,
a lot
nah,
today.
nah, nah.
I
Not that
learned
old.
a lot today
Yeah,
reading
yeah.
about these hotels. This is going to be a fun exhibit, like seriously,
Oh,
because
yeah.
the more I read about it, the more I'm like, wow, there's a little dark stuff in here. There's some grim stuff. There's some mysterious things.
So with that hotel you just talked about, when was that built around? To be historic, is there any sort of like threshold
Criteria
where
of some
like
sort.
it can't be?
So the real criteria when we were choosing, there were actually 4 of us that worked on it.
Okay.
The rules we kind of came up with were we represent 7 counties, Orange and all the counties that touch it. So we had to hit all 7 counties. And then we hit the historic ones in Orlando. So like the really old ones that when you say the name, people know what you're talking about. And of course we did Parliament House because that was a big deal. And then we also included the original 3 Disney resorts because that kind of changed tourism in Central Florida.
Okay.
Yeah, is it true that the San Juan at the time? Okay, so San Juan was first, I believe, or before Ainge built.
I believe so.
I think it.
Yeah,
I think it went
so.
that way. And then what I read that was kind of cool is that they kind of were uber competitive with each other because the San Juan, which was originally built by C.E. Pierce, right? And then the Beachman gum guy bought.
Why do you have us on? What
Yeah.
I got it.
We'll do the history, Scotty. Sit back and relax.
This is when I pull my mask
and
off.
learn.
I pull my mask off and it's Tom underneath. I wanted to say the history.
And then I pull my mask off as Dan. And then you guys are like, why? Hold on. You just done the same thing. It doesn't make any sense.
Seriously, that we are switching roles and now I'm blushing. But no, the Beachman gum guy, and I started screaming in here this morning because that's my mother's favorite gum, and I think it tastes like ass. Do you guys? Have you ever had Beachman gum?
No.
It's almost like I think it's like a licorice kind of
Right.
a vibe,
Oh,
and
Gross.
it is
Thank you.
straight ass. It's ass. So the Beachman gum guy buys the San Juan, and then he throws more stories on it to compete with the Ainge build because they were kind of
Okay.
going at it,
All
like
right.
like competing, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
I do.
I mean, that is beginnings of, when you think about it, that is about as Disney tourism, Universal Disney as it gets, and it wasn't even Disney Universal. It's 2 other hotels.
I do like old school rich guys that just like sold one thing, like I'm big gum, like he made his fortune gum or steel or like and now it's all like, oh, this person wrote the software that Facebook uses to write messages, and it's like, oh, okay, well, stupid. I want them to sell a product. Anyway.
I thought you would like this. I mean, the Ainge built, right? It was built by Joseph Finner Ainge. That's what Ainge built. That you would do that. Tom built, right?
Again, I like that.
Yeah, you like that kind of
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You're like Dan built, Tom built.
Yeah, I like when the business
Yeah.
is the guy's name.
What did he do? He built something. What's his name? Tom. It's Tom built. Boom.
yeah, like Mr. Depot. So the original 3 Disney World resorts or hotels. What?
Can you name them? Is a dolphin one of them?
Okay,
No.
first, are
Polynesian.
they still
Yes.
open? Okay, Polynesian.
Can you
okay.
still say that? Oh my god.
No, you
Am I
can't.
canceled? Am I canceled?
So Polynesia. I'm guessing it's somewhere around the God, I don't know the parks as well.
Hold on. The Contemporary,
Yes.
the Polynesian, and the one for the poor people.
The camping one.
Fort Wilderness.
Fort Wilderness.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
so
you
Fort
got it.
Wilderness.
Good job.
It was my poor people clue.
Now, Fort Wilderness is just a lot of concrete slabs.
Yes.
I wouldn't call it a hotel.
Yeah.
I guess no, there is a hotel, right? Like,
I think there's a lodge, right?
Is there a lodge?
That's a different resort,
Oh,
but
okay.
they have cabins.
Okay, is that
Yeah.
exactly. You know they're selling those cabins off.
Yeah.
The old ones. Have you seen that?
They're $19,000. I asked the museum for one, and they laughed.
It's so nice.
You think they
It's a
donate
good
one?
idea.
Give them a cabin.
I know.
We should put some heat on them.
Yeah.
We should
Yes,
put some
please.
heat on them.
Do we have a donor out there who might want to write a check?
I know someone who bought
Our
one.
captain.
Do you?
Yeah, a friend of Crystal's sister bought one to put on their parents' property.
I think that's pretty cool.
Wow.
and
that is cool.
they're
If you
getting
were a
delivered or
Disney
whatever.
fan, I mean, and you
Yeah.
have any, like I used to go to Fort Wilderness as a kid. I mean, it would be cool as hell to have one of those. I mean,
Yeah.
that's neat.
Yeah.
They're
That's
not
a piece
that
of history.
They are, but they're not that good.
No, they're not.
No.
You know,
They're not.
they've been used
Yeah.
by 10,000 people,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
and they're falling
Oh
apart.
my god!
Like it's
the
all.
smell of 1970s urine.
Yeah,
inside
yeah,
there.
yeah. It's really just a trailer
Yeah.
with decorations,
Yeah, yeah.
you know, and then it's
Some wood burnings.
it's 50 years old or whatever.
Howdy.
But- so
Hoop-de-doo.
so any other hotels that we should mention? I know that what's the oldest hotel on the list?
I think the San Juan.
It's probably the San Juan.
You know what I found
yeah.
interesting about the San Juan is that more of my I spent a long time reading about this morning. They had in the 1970s the San Juan had a huge gay community that kind
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
ran it, and then I was like, was that pre-Parliament House?
It kind of was. No,
And have
go
we
ahead.
always?
Oh, no,
have we
I believe
always
they
had that
overlapped.
in
They did.
Orlando. Like,
Yeah.
have we always had sort of a concentrated and popular? Like, were we always a gay destination, or like, how does something like that happen?
Yeah,
Because in the readings I said,
It's the weather.
the weather is pretty nice. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah. It turns out everybody, they're like, there's a small pocket of all humanity in Florida somewhere because everybody just comes here because the
like
weather's nice all
sunshine.
day.
Yeah, but I thought it was pretty progressive for even at the time. I was like, wow, have we
especially
always
right downtown? But because I think part of what worked about Parliament House was the fact that it was a secluded area.
Sure.
But I think there was a little bit of a rivalry between the two. There's a lot of gossip about them, and there's gossip about the end of it. Right? It went up in flames, and
arson.
it's rumored
Yeah.
that he the owner set the fire. Right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They call that a specific type of lightning that I'm not allowed to talk about. I read that it was arson, and then another thing that's even cooler about the Ames spill is that at one point, where is it? In 1923, to raise money for an Elks Club, the human fly, Harry Gardner, scaled the entire hotel.
There are pictures of that.
Yeah, there are. Yeah.
Yeah, he's super famous. And then
And he was called the Human Fly.
He was called the Human Fly, Harry Gardner. And Harry Gardner, there's a little bit of a controversy on how he died. There is a newspaper article about his heart stopping and that he died in his sleep. And then there's another like gossip column that says that they had enacted new legislation to stop people from climbing the Eiffel Tower. And they found somebody who had broken the rules and was his description that was beaten to death at the base of the Eiffel Tower.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I was about to say, if you find the human fly,
You beat him to death.
No. I'm saying he died in his sleep. Like you got to throw him out the window. So people, he died doing what he loves.
I like that.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
I actually like that. Like the Red Bull flute dog.
Yeah, the human
launch him
fly
off.
has to have died from a fall. Or maybe you don't want
I'm
that.
guessing though, with we cover Central Florida, so probably the Eiffel Tower didn't make it into.
No. It didn't.
Well, that's just a rumor. There is a real like article about him dying. But then the more I read, they were like, but some people don't believe that. Some people like they found a
There's always
man
another
matching his description that was, and then they were really every article I read said he was beat to death. I'm like, wow,
Now,
that's aggressive.
Daniel, when have you ever stayed in a super old hotel? Because
The one in St. Augustine that is it the Cordova? What is that one? It's right next to where I went to school, Flagler College. It's the one
super old building there.
Yeah.
All right.
The
It was Flagler's Hotel. I forget the name of it.
Yeah, I do too, and I went to school there. That's just a shame. But I stayed there once.
and every time I've
I
stayed
hated it.
in a super old, well, the rooms are so small, like
Literally terrible.
everything's
the air
so
conditioning
small.
I think
Yeah,
it may not have even had air.
Well, they didn't have central air at the time, so they had to do some sort of renovation, I'm sure. And the same thing.
Everybody's saying Casa Monica.
Yeah.
Thank you guys. Thank you, chat room.
Like it's the architecture is cool, but
it's beautiful.
when you stay in there, you're just not used to how small everything used to be. You know, like the rooms are smaller, like everything, the hallways.
Yeah.
And then you forget, like you're on some big waste of space that we know now, like giant room, like a desk we never use, and like
Yeah,
and
I do like those though. I feel fancy. When I
I
walk into a modern day hotel, the first thing I do is I take my attaché and I put it on the desk and I'm like, business man. I do all of that. I'm like, business. And then I only sleep in one bed and then I put my stuff on the other bed.
Okay. Yeah,
Like a business.
Yeah.
I like all of that.
So
The worst hotel you and I ever stayed in,
what?
Portland.
No, yeah.
Hotel
yeah.
Deluxe. You guys are familiar with Hotel Deluxe? It's the hotel that they shot certain segments of the show Portlandia in.
Okay.
And it's real kitschy and super
Yeah.
hipster and everything. And the rooms are tiny. And you get a basket of goodies. And you don't have anything you can use in there. You don't have any granola bars. There's no candy. But you do get a dildo, a butt plug, all this like inappropriate
I don't
stuff.
want it.
I might have to cut that out. Or you get all of this stuff that you don't even need. They give you all. I'm like, they don't. I'm like, I need a comb. I need a toothbrush. Come on, man. I'm traveling. I'm working here. You can give me that. It's like
I guess
being
it
a
depends on
Spencer's
your
gift.
needs, really.
Yeah, so you're right. You're right. You're right, Scotty.
How many different hotels are on the list? Are we talking like a dozen?
There's 15.
Okay, so 15
Wow.
different hotels.
That's a lot in a pocket exhibit.
How?
Really.
We
Yeah.
got
it's
carried
a-
away.
Pocket also.
Like I did this morning.
Exactly.
It is pretty,
Pocket
it's
means-
a lot more interesting than you think. The minute you
Oh,
start
yeah.
reading about it, you're like, holy crap, this is really cool.
But we
Yeah.
call them pockets because and we talked about this on the show before, but these are pockets of space that otherwise would be unused, but also it refers to the sides. They're not intended to be huge exhibits, so 15 is a lot of topics to cover.
Yeah.
Yes.
How many are still in like operation now?
5.
Yeah.
Whoa.
All the Disney ones.
Yeah, yeah.
What were the other ones?
God, that's
We
not
literally went over this like an hour ago.
You're fine. Don't worry
I know
about
I'm
it.
quizzing you.
we-
I am.
no, you're fine. I have to go
I
through the
don't
list.
think any of the older ones are actually hotels anymore.
No, there's
A
some
lot of them have been repurposed to apartment buildings, things of that nature.
I
So
don't
the
like that.
structures exist, but they're just
Yeah.
not the same thing.
I don't like it when people do that. Like when you take something historical and then you make it apartments, the people that live in that think they're better than me. They do. They do.
Yeah,
I know
yeah.
people that live in historic places and the way they look at me, I'm like,
Yeah.
what? Because mine was built in 05?
Yeah, yeah.
I work in a historic place, and that's the way I feel.
Yeah, you should.
Who are you people?
I'm not saying
Were you able to get like in the pocket exhibit different things? Is it all pictures? Were you able to like get any sort of anything else associated with those hotels to be in the exhibit?
So it's kind of a myriad of things. We do have a lot of hotels that are represented by vintage postcards and
that's cool.
photos.
Okay.
And then we do have some artifacts, mostly from like Angebuilt, San Juan, the Disney hotels.
We have a Hotel Lucerne deposit book, which is pretty
Yeah,
cool.
that's
Oh, that's where I got
really
married. Is that a
cool.
hotel? Did that make the list? Lake
Yeah.
Lucerne?
Yeah.
Oh, I got married there.
Well, that's
Oh, wait,
fancy.
so I did stay in one of the hotels. I stayed in the little room, the one,
Yeah,
the
they
little
got-
hotel room.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
don't come a knocking. You know what I mean? hey. Hold on. Oh, I got that. There we go. One of those.
Can
Yeah.
you use that basket then?
You're right. You know, Scotty, I take back everything I said. Scotty's right. Scotty's right.
Did you have to like do any deeper research for any of these? Like, and then did you find out anything weird?
I
did
mean,
a lot of research.
yeah, it was a ton of research. It kind of depended on the hotels that we picked. We kind of did it by what we had in the collection. So photos, postcards, things like that. I didn't realize that Parliament House had 2 iterations, that it opened in 62 and then it changed to what we think of Parliament House being up until its close. Obviously, like San Juan, Angebuilt. I don't know if we found out too much about those, but
No, because they're talked about so often. There's a lot out there.
Was there anything that anybody kept from the Parliament House? Like
Somebody has to sign, right?
We do.
yeah.
You're good.
We do.
I'm glad
Okay.
you guys have it because I was afraid somebody would.
And I keep pushing to like do something with it, but it's larger than
huge.
you
It's
expect
humongous.
it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have that. I don't know that we got anything else from.
It would be cool to source it and be like, okay, who made this sign? Like,
Yeah.
who was the
Yeah.
person that bent the metal and put the lights in? Like, and then go to that place and be like, did you like what other signs were you making? Like, I don't know. Like,
Yeah,
I do
yeah.
get into what you guys do. I love it. Like,
Yeah,
I
no.
think it's super cool.
We do too. Should we? We should also mention the you guys are doing a curator conversation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
on,
yeah.
yeah, let's hit that real quick
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
we run out of time.
and that's part of your third Thursday, July 18th. It's going to be on Thursday, and it's going to be basically people come and ask questions about the exhibit and talk about the historic hotels and all that, right?
Yeah, so we'll be doing kind of mini tours of the Pocket exhibit. Kara and I will be there. Each one will be a half hour. One's at 5, one's at 6.
Yes.
So we'll be talking about the kind of things that we've learned, any weird stories that we've gotten or that we came across, some personal stories, because we've
cool.
stayed at some of these hotels. mostly the Disney ones.
Yeah, of course.
Those are like the only
You want to be treated like
ones.
queens.
I go to Fort Wilderness every year. And, I go on the time they have the 5K and the marathon, and they blast music 3:30 in the morning.
It's nice.
It was just
It's like, oh, what's that? Oh, Flow Rider. Great.
Yeah.
Here we go.
And it's like, you don't need that loud of music to like all these people, these marathon runners, they can run in silence.
Headphones. Silent. Their silent
silent
discos.
marathon.
Yeah. And when they start running, you can't hear it anyway. So no reason to blast it in where all the campsites are trying to sleep.
We like to close
a
out when
tent.
guests are here by complaining about things like old men.
Well, and third Thursday, which you mentioned, everybody, these listeners know because we talked about it before. But 5 to 9, we're open late, and it's free. So coming to see them and learning even more about this exhibit is a good opportunity.
Yeah, you might find some places, destinations you might want to go yourself and check these places out. That's very, very cool.
Emily, Kara, Scotty, thanks so much for coming by.
Appreciate
We
you
really
guys.
appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Again, you can find out all the information at thehistorycenter.org, and they constantly have new exhibits popping up, including like pocket exhibits like these, and every third Thursday they do a free event, and you can go by and check it
interact
out.
with. Sure.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.
Awesome, guys. We're still on Twitch and YouTube,
Yay.
but that was great.
Perfect. Thank you.
Wonderful job.
you.
Thank you.
No, thank you, guys. Let me save this. Where's that go to?
That is Monday 4.
Monday the 15th?
Yes, I believe.
So we
Yes.
just did 3, and that's 4.
Yes,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Yep. Cool. Well, we appreciate you guys being here.
Yep, thank you so much. I appreciate
Sorry
it.
if I scream talk too much.
Yeah. We bounce around like crazy.
The Lena story in because you guys remember Emily told you about
Yeah,
the murder
yeah,
that
yeah,
happens
yeah.
in,
Yeah, she didn't make the cut.
Oh, no. Okay.
It's going into
Oh,
the
in the
150
Orlando
exhibit.
Collective.
Oh, that's cool. That's
why we
very
held
cool.
her back. Plus, she gets
that'd be
talked
great.
about a lot.
Yeah, you gotta give some eyes to everybody else.
She
You know?
got cut from Brendan.
Is that our last segment?
I was surprised.
I
by
know.
that.
Yeah, we're gonna do that weird job, but we
Yeah.
won't.
All right, guys.
won't Twitch
We'll see you tomorrow.